Shalom, when it started off souls, but giving no praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakodash, double honors, apostles of great most and honors to brothers doing the work, the most high in truth and in sincerity. Yahweh's raw name, of whom the world ignorantly calls God, Jehovah, Yahweh. His raw name is Yahweh. The Son's true name is Yahushai, and we pray Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba meaning in, Ha meaning done, Sham meaning name, so Yahweh in the name of Yahushai. It's a quick one on basically I've been kind of following ish the Putin speech at at the he had a speech today. I was basically kind of following it, and one of the things that was I'll get to it in a second, which kind of sparked this off, but it was this constant use of the word claim, right? As if to, and this will have the definition of the word claim up, right? Because this man, he's got a smooth lying tongue, right? So when he's basically saying something, he picks the right words, right? Because he understands, that words have meaning, words have weight. So this is claim. It's a state or assert that something is the case, typically without providing evidence or proof, right? So it's very different to say, for instance, this first one here, Vladimir Putin, states that pedophilia is normal in West, and when you see this word here, bizarre, right? Very strange or unusual, especially so as to cause interest or amusement, right? So basically, he's the way this is written is to basically make you completely dismiss it, despite the fact that we are actually seeing sexualization of children happening in the West, right? You look at what is happening with all of these drag queens and being around children, teaching children sexualized things. It's just like, he's not wrong, right? He's not wrong, and the funniest thing is, more and more, as time goes on, more and more, we are going to start seeing, and I speak as a man, but I would expect to start seeing this man really go full on in, right, with adding P to the alphabet, right? Thus, like I said, I'm speaking as a man, right? That's why you see issues like Hunter Biden, right? The Judge Ketanji Brown being very lenient, right, on people who have committed child sex offences, right? Then also Prince Andrew, right? Because this is the thing, these people do worse behind closed doors. So why has this man basically made these particular cases, bring to the forefront, right? It makes me think of the precept in Psalms 64th chapter, right? It says, Psalm 64 and 6, they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep, right? So this man thinks deep, this man goes in deep, right? This man, he analyzes and studies everything, right? He goes in. Why? Because the Lord has put the Spirit on him to do so, right? But then, so that he can, in fact, let me read verse 5, right? They encourage themselves in an evil matter, right? So that they can complete their evil matter, right? So they commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them, right? And they're constantly laying snares for people to get caught up in, right? Which is why, for instance, the slogan of the alphabet people is love is love, but actually that is an open-ended phrase, okay? Because once again, people will be like, oh, you're a bigot if you say two men can't lay down, or two women can't lay down. But actually, no. Once again, the scriptures, right, are speak a lot on sexual immorality, right? You can love another man's woman, right? But guess what? You're gonna be put to death, right? That's sex between a man and a woman, but that's still unlawful, right? A man may love his mother sexually, but guess what? That is unlawful, right? And both of them, in both of them, in all of these cases, the punishment is death, right? And death in a public fashion, so that everyone else can see, right? And what do you call it? Can see and fit, right? But that's it. In this world, there ain't no punishment for sexual immorality, period. Okay? But once again, this whole thing about love is love, what are they going to do? They opened a can of worms. there, right? So when their next thing they're gonna say is, look, a man can love a woman, a young child, and a young child can love a man, right? What's wrong with it, right? So that's them snares that this devil sets up. So that was one of the things that he said he was claiming. But once again, we see it happening, right? Let me grab this one first, and I'll come back to that one, right? Let me grab this one, right? He says the whole planet is dotted with U.S. bases, says Putin, right? Vladimir Putin claims Russia was open to dialogue with the West, right, and were open to a ecosystem of security, but in response, we were getting dishonest answers, right? And this is this man's mo for once, right? For one rather, right? They say one thing and do another, right? But it says, and then actually when you look in what was reported, right, basically says that a peace deal was on the table, but then, what do you call it? I think they basically named, what's this old British guy, man? The old Prime Minister, what's his name again? Boris Johnson, right? Basically said Boris Johnson vetoed it, apparently, right? You can, go look into that yourselves, right? He says, and once again, he said he claims the whole planet is dotted with US and NATO bases. And once again, using that word there, claims, right? So it says state or assert something is the case, typically without providing evidence or proof, right? But phrasing it that way, for someone who's not going to go and do the research, people are going to dismiss that statement, but it is quite literally true, right? So I had looked for NATO military bases, but all I was getting was US military bases. So I'll just show that, right? But you look at this, right? All I don't know about you, but that looks like dotted all over the world. I mean, you see, you all in the middle of nowhere. This man has bases in the middle Ascension Island. Look at that. Look at that dot in the middle of literally nowhere, right? And then but these Ammonites, man, these so-called Japanese, they've been um, buck brokered, man. All right, with 120. What's going on there? Slovakia, right? Where'd it go? Where did it go? I've lost it. I'm saying. There we go. Right, with 120. So let me just read this. According to David Van, professor of political anthropology at the American University in Washington, D.C., the U.S. Has around 750 bases in at least 80 countries. Right, as of July 2021, the actual number may be even higher, as not all data is published by the Pentagon, and it will be higher, right? Because you're going to have black sites, right? So with 120 active bases, Japan has the highest number of US bases in the world, followed by Germany with 119 and South Korea with 73, right? So then it's just like, yo, man, these devils never keep at home, as the scriptures say, right? It says Habakkuk 2 and 5. It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by one, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, right? I mean, look at this graph. Now, that sounds like you don't keep at home to me, right? I mean, he's got 10,000 troops is in the UK. 10,000 troops with 25 bases in the UK. Man, right? It says, neither keepeth at home, right? Who enlargeth his desire is hell, right? And is as death and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people, right? And yeah, this is enlargeth his desires hell and is as death. What do you think these military happens when these military bases? This is, as Apostle Tahar said, this is an occupation. This is what you're seeing. This is an occupation, right? Remember Apostle, I believe I remember Apostle Tahar saying that a while, but when you got bases in in other countries like that you see here, right? This man is basically just going around the world occupying everything and then taking the resources when he's there. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to find a NATO one, but like I said, I couldn't find it because you have certain of these countries where it's not necessarily US, but you have like a French one, right, or English one, or whatever, what have you, right? And it says, yeah, and when he's there, what's he doing? He's taking things, right? He's taking what people, what would you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? yeah, these bases, those troops are out there, and they're basically making sure that America's way gets, gets implemented, right? So yeah, that's it on that. Right, once again, he claims the whole planet is dotted with U.S. and NATO bases. It's like, well, it's literally what we're seeing. Like bases, 750 bases in 80 countries, and troops in 159 countries. But that's just like the Roman Empire, spread thin. Okay. And then the last one, right, says Russia pulls out of arms treaty with the US, right? Towards the end of his speech, President Vladimir Putin said that Russia was suspending its participation in the New START treaty with the US that limits the two sides' strategic nuclear arsenals. In this regard, I am forced to announce today that Russia is suspending its participation in the Strategic Offensive Arms Treaty, Putin said. The New START Treaty was signed in Prague in 2010, came into force the following year, and was extended in 21 for 5 more years just after Biden took office, right? And that's it, right? Because we're coming up into that time, right? This is Joel 3 from 9. Proclaim me this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves round about. Did the cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Right, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Right, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. Right, and this is it, people. These different nations, they're starting to pump more and more into their militaries, into their respective militaries, right? Because we're in that time of war. Okay, the Lord is getting everyone prepared for this time of war, right? So, just a quick one. Lord's will, that was edifying. Until next time we say Shalom.